This is the help video for Word Chapter 4, Pause and Practice 4.4. On the left, I have the instructions from my SimNet sim book. On the right, I have the file that as it exists at the end of 4.3. And I noticed there's two files that I need. If you didn't download them prior, you can download them at this point from your sim book. I went ahead and downloaded them, and you can see I'm using Chrome, so they exist down here in my bottom tray, and they will be in my downloads folder. So we already have this saved as 4.4, so we're all good. We're going to insert the Placer Hills logo at the bottom right-hand corner. Once again, if we look at, sometimes it's good to see a visual. So this is what we want to put here. So the Placer Hills real estate logo. So we're going to position our cursor at the bottom right. So I'm just going to do a Control N, and you can see my insertion point right there. And we're going to go to Insert, and then in Illustrations, we're going to pick Pictures, and we're picking a picture from my device because I just downloaded it, but you could also do it from stock images that are provided with Office 365, or you can search using Bing to find images. We're going to do this device. I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and there is my logo. Insert, and it's going to put it right there. So now what we need to do is arrange it. So I am going to, so I just took a second to zoom out so you can see a little bit better this column. So we're on step 4, arrange the format, arrange and format this logo. So select the logo, and then we're going to go to the picture tool. So once it's selected, we get this new tab called Picture Format. And in there, we can have some different, some different tabs. So sizing, arranging, styles, adjusting the actual color and transparency, those type of things. But what we want to do is wrap text, and that's in the arrange. So let's find wrap text. By default, it's going to be in line with text, which means it's text does not wrap around it. We want to put this in front of the text. So let's do in front of text. And that allows me to move it, right? When it's in line with text, it doesn't let me do that. So the next thing I want to do is size it. So right here on the size, I'm going to do the height is going to be 1.2. And then that will automatically adjust the width to 2.02 because we want to keep it proportional. So we want to drag this towards the bottom, and one of the things, just eyeball it, and that looks pretty good. If we wanted to look at it in one page, so I could do 100%, and it looks, okay, it looks pretty good. Border. So we're going to do picture border. So once again, we have to be in it. If you're off of it, you lose that tab. So you have to be on that object to get the corresponding tab. So we want to do in the styles group, we're going to pick the picture border. So that's this one right here. We're going to do the down arrow, and we're going to set the standard. So it'd be the color, the weight, and the type of line. So we want to do, let's see, olive green accent 3. So right there. We're going to go back to that, and we're going to make the weight 1.5. A little bit thicker line, and so now it's kind of set up. It's not hanging out there. It's got a little border to define its edges. So now what we're going to do is, even though we eyeballed it down here in the corner, we're going to position it specifically. And so this is a technique you can use to place something on the page and have it kind of be stuck there. If you imagine that you had a piece of paper and you wanted to put something and you had a glue stick and you glued it and you put it in that spot, everything else goes around it and that would be stuck to that position on your paper. And that's kind of what we're going to do right here, is we're going to absolutely position this. So we want to go to the Arrange group and find this Position button. And we're going to click it down and we're going to do more layouts because we want to be very specific. So if you look, we can have horizontal and vertical alignment, so up and down, left and right. So if we read this, it says the absolute position in the horizontal. So let's look at, so we're on absolute position, and I was pretty close. I was 8.8, but we want to make it 0.86 to the right of the page, right? So starting at the page, we want to come over 8.6. Then vertically, we want it to be 7. Oh, I got this wrong. This is not 8. We want 8.6 to the page, right? And then 7 to the page, right? Because we don't really care about the paragraphs. We want to stick this on that spot in the overall page. So we have 8.6 to the right of the page and 7 down. That's going to be this corner. So we're going to go ahead and do OK, and it's going to adjust, right? So it's going to snug itself into that layout, and it's going to stay there. Okay. So I'm going to take a second and save that, and then we're going to put a page. Remember I said, I think I said we're going to put a table and a picture, but really we're just going to put a picture over here at the bottom here. So we're going to go back up to that Insert tab, and it's a picture, this device. This time it's the For Sale. We're going to put that in there, and it's going to hose everything up. But look, when we went to page 2, that Placer Hills still was stuck on that spot of the page, right? So one of the things we need to do is we need to make this size different. So it's going to be, the height is going to be 1.2. So we're going to just pull it down, and then look, when we pull it down, it's there. So now we're going to wrap the text, and we're going to say square. And it disappeared again. So I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to drag it, right? So don't worry when things kind of adjust as you're working with it. It just needs to be in the right spot when you're done. So we're going to put this up here. So do you see where this is number 4 and then 3? We want it to be below 3 and to the right of the step 4, or why I'm a real estate agent, right? So now we want to insert a caption for this picture. So we want to right click, and we're going to say Insert Caption. And one of the things that you do is you don't change the caption here. We're going to just say OK. It's going to put the default in. Then inside that box, we're going to go in and we're going to change it to meeting your needs, right? So when you're doing these captions, you just put the default in, and then you come back and edit it after it's applied to the page. We're going to do a Control E, which centers it, or you could come up here and pick Paragraph Center. With the caption still selected, I'm going to press and hold my Control key and select on the For Sale, because we want these two things to be one, right? They're actually two objects. So if I was to move them or size them, they're independent of each other. So what we're going to do now is we're going to group it so that if I do any adjustment to this, they're going to be one object. So picture format, group. So that's right here. We're going to click the down arrow, and we're going to say group. Now look, the outline, if I were to move this, it only moves, both elements move together. Okay. Okay, cool. So that's done. Change the paragraph spacing on the 2 quotes. Okay, so we need to be in the first paragraph and the one where it says it was a pleasure. And so we want to change the spacing after. So we could go to layout, and then after, right now it says 3 points, we're going to make it 12. So we're increasing that white space between the paragraph and the person who did that quote. We're going to do that with the next paragraph of a quote, 12. So we've increased the white space between the paragraph and the person that provided the testimonial. So then what we need to do is we want this, once again, if we look at this answer, see how they're in like this little box? So that's pretty cool. So we're going to do that. We're going to select the shape. So that's in insert. And then in this illustration, we want to find the shape button. And we're going to do, in the callouts, we're going to do speech bubble rectangle. So it's the first one in the callout. Then I'm going to take my cross hairs, and I'm just going to drag it and include over the quoted text. Right? So if you want an image of it, come down here and look. So, right? So it's on the quote, but does not include the person who provided it. Notice that you can't see anything. It's like stacking papers, right? So we need to send this shape back. Okay, guys, these directions did not work for me, and it might be because Microsoft has changed it. I went in icons, I went home. So I went icons, and then I found home and not buildings. And I found the image right here that they want us to use. So I'm going to click on that and insert. So we're going to wrap this text in front of text, and then we're going to position it, position, more layouts. Absolute is going to be 3.7 to the page, and vertical is going to be 0.2 to the page. Okay, and oh, I didn't change the height. So height is 0.8. Let me just verify that I have the position set still. 3.7.2, good. The size is 0.8, and we're good. So, all right. So, so we're going to click on the Alt text. So we're going to select this icon, and in the graphic format, right here it's Alt text. We're going to put icon of a home. Then we're going to select for sale, and we're going to say for sale sign. And then we're going to go to the logo. We're going to type PHRE logo. So what we're doing is we're putting alternate text for text readers, or if the images don't show up, then that alternate text will show in place. So once I have that done, I'm going to save this, and we should be able to submit it. Okay, thank you.